What's going on, y'all? It's Miller back with another episode of Miller Murdoch Fishing, if you want to call it that. Just got out of school probably 20 minutes or so ago. Brought the boat to school with me, and Hurricane Milton is currently bearing down on us with its teeth showing. So it'll probably be the last day that I get to go out here and fish before who knows what's left of either this river or the rest of Florida for that matter. But we're a little bit more north of where this storm's really supposed to hit. But with that being said, there's a lot of people that are in kind of the ground zero location of this storm. It's going to be a truly record-setting hurricane, so thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's going to be involved in it, people that are going to be working during it, and people that are going to be really in it. So we've had a lot of high water these last couple weeks. We've had lots of rain, lots of northeast winds, which is going to keep the water into the river. High tide today is roughly right at 3 o'clock. We'll see how accurate that is, but as you can see, water is way up and it's still coming in. So throw a lot of high water moving baits today. It's not something that I do a ton of, and it's something I need to get better at. I really enjoy fishing outgoing tides and not low water, but predictable water, which we'll get into a little bit later today. We're pretty much into the fall transition. Fall's pretty much here. There's a lot of fish that are chasing bait around. There's still a lot of shrimp in the river, and there's a lot of fish feeding on shrimp. But we're gonna get this thing dropped in and let's go fishing. So most content creators will put some sort of trending audio here or a little song just to kind of buy the time. Not me, not your boy. There's so many copyright infringement songs now on YouTube, so y'all get to listen to my pretty voice for the next 6 seconds. Go ahead and get the truck parked. All right, it's time to go fishing. All right, so we're out of the no wake zone. We're gonna go ahead and jump this thing up on plane and see what's going on. Good looking shell bed right there. That right there is what a shell bed looks like, and it looks like we're getting into some bait influence here now too. So I'm gonna mark that. We're gonna take another look at that. There's definitely a few fish in there, so pretty textbook spot. The main part of this river kind of comes in right through here. I'll show you here on the map, so you can kind of see the main part of the creek is running right through here. You got this little flat spot that has a little bit of a ridge right here where it goes from 11 to 8 back down to 13. It's called a saddle, basically, is the proper terminology for it, and right off the edge of that saddle it creates a little current break right there, and there appeared to be a couple fish set up on it. So we're going to turn this boat around. We're going to take another peek at that. You can see a lot of shell right through here and just kind of some scattered fish around it. And that shell bed, or like the hardest concentration of shell, is going to be right behind this little dock where it creates a current break. And you can see 100% fish inside that shell bed. So we're going to get the boat spun around and see if they are willing to bite. It's pretty cool. I've never actually seen this spot before, so get to do something a little different today. Alrighty then. So control motor's on. I know, before y'all roast me in the comment section, I know I need to replace that. Something awful. When it comes to setting up on these fish offshore, really all I'm going to do, you can see my waypoints right there. I'm going to go past it because the tide's coming in, water's working this way down the creek. This fish are set up in the front part of that bar looking to feed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get past them a little bit. Yeah, that water's really clean, actually. I don't see why they wouldn't bite today, so we're gonna find out. I'll come in on this angle, get sideways to them. Probably set myself up right in front of that dock. Wind's gonna be a little bit of a bugger, but it's part of it. So first cast, just gonna go right down the middle of it with a drop shot. Let R2D2 do his thing back there. I'm just gonna slowly just keep this working along and drag the bait along. Ain't trying to do too much with it. Water's pretty clean. We're on the very last hour of the incoming tide. So really it's a good time for these fish to bite. May come back through here when the tide switches and see if they're set up on this again. But I'm just kind of dragging it along, bumping into shell. There he is. That's just like clockwork. That's how it's supposed to happen, right? Not a big one, but little St. John's River Ortega bass, all of 150 yards away from the boat ramp. So, practice what you preach, right? I'm actually gonna do, just for efficiency's sake, I'm gonna get on the other side of this spot and cast cast against the wind and bring my bait with the wind, because the tide's not really ripping out right now, or really doing a whole lot of anything right now. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but if you look closely, there's a little ridge that runs right out here, and you can kind of see where those fish are really setting up and where they're sitting. So I want to make a cast past them and bring it to them. There's definitely some better fish down. Oh, there's one. Not a big one. Actually, he's pretty little. However, he is eating it. Hook good. Pretty typical Ortega River bass. A little on the cool side. Kind of smells like a shrimp and a shad. It's the importance of knowing your electronics and knowing what you're looking at when it comes to graphing for these fish, because they can be in an area literally the size of the hood of your truck. And if your graph's not really dialed in, you'd never know they were there. So, not a big one by any stretch of the imagination, but it's proof of concept. They seem to be in the very, very front part of it, which makes a ton of sense. Wind's blowing straight into it. These fish are going to want to set up right in the very front part of it that they can get. So I'm going to bump myself up just a little bit and cast directly to the front part of that shell bed, which is right there. Kind of looked like I was sitting on top of it when my original setup, so. Another one about the same size. Maybe they're all about the same size. But they are biting, and they are fun to catch when they're biting, so I'm gonna stay on them for a little bit longer until they stop biting, because rule number one, never leave fish to find fish. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, pull out my little plug, see if they're willing to bite a kind of a shrimpy looking crankbait. And I'm also gonna reach in here and grab, oh, I lost my flop. I'm also gonna reach in here and grab, that's the crankbait I'm looking for. And of course it's got 8,000 different things hooked on it, so I would expect nothing less out of my crankbait. Well, since one shoe came off, I'm gonna go shoeless for the remainder of however much time I'm here, so. There he is. About the same size. Same thing, smaller fish, but came up and got it, I can tell you that. He thumped that bait. Same size. Fish coming out of this creek, setting up to feed. So make another cast a little bit further off. The fish was basically sitting right on that first ridge, so there's another one. Alright, I think I pretty much got all that I'm going to get out of here off of this spot for right now. Probably come back in a little bit, maybe catch another couple, but I'm going to show them a drop shot one more time just to make sure that I'm not missing one. There's fish offshore on these little, basically little shell bed. There he is. About the same size as all the other ones were. Little fish coming out of this creek. But they are biting fish. Biting fish are fun to catch, so. Cast out there right at the very front part of that little shell bed and just let it drift. That might be a slightly better fish. Nope, same size. Come here. Come here. Seems like this spot's getting more in it now. Alright, so got a little bit more shade now. And something that these fish do in the fall up here in the north part of the river, and they do it in other parts of the river too, but primarily in the North River. These fish up here typically are a lot shallower related fish. Is they'll get on these bulkheads like this, and whether they're wood or corrugated, it's just something that breaks the current. And it's something that these fish can, oversent that cast. And it's just something these fish can relate to. And they can ambush bait as it gets washed around this little point. Typically your better fish are setting up on these bulkheads too. I've caught more better fish on these bulkheads than I have small fish. It's just less of an area that a lot of fish can use, and it's something that only really the biggest fish in the system can really get on and really relate to. So I'll just pop her down this bulkhead, see if we can't pick one or two off. Probably mix a buzzbait, or not a buzzbait, but a little spinnerbait. Throw mix a spinnerbait in and a chatterbait in as well. A lot of muck in there, so just under the water surface. So pick up a buzzbait, see if there's any active aggressive feeding fish. set up on this wall. Just like that one. That's a good one too. A little better fish. Little meatball. Right where he should have been. Very corner of that wall over there. Totally different looking fish too. Look how dark he is. He's out of this creek and he's set up on these walls to feed on shad. Right where he should have been though. Very corner of that wall. There should be one right there somewhere. Right there. That'd have been cool, right? Called my shot like that. Oh, goodness gracious, that's a giant. Not a giant, but a freaking good one. How about that one? Ortega River 4-pounder. Just goes to show you kind of what these fish are doing. That's 3 and some change, maybe a little bit over 3. Super pretty fish. Give him a drink. Kind of clean him up a little bit. Get a good look at him. Just a super pretty bass. That's a pretty standard Ortega River fish. 3 and some change. Good fish. That's the ones we're looking for right there. See you, baby girl. Right where she should have been too. Oh, I love that. That is so addictive. Didn't really blow up on it, just slurped it. Saw my bait disappear. Saw a big old swirl behind it. That right there is what dreams are made of. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, that doesn't suck. I'm sorry y'all have to just watch that. Little rock pile. Oh, another quality fish. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Good day to come and film. I swear. I just caught one bigger than that probably 5 minutes ago. Alrighty, so kind of like what I fished here. I think I'm figuring out a little something. Good one. Gotta see if we can stay on this buzzbait bulkhead bite or just this bulkhead bite in general. There's a couple more bulkheads right around this bridge, so gonna go crank the big motor up and go run over to them and see if they're still doing it over there. So stay tuned. All right, so a little bit calmer over here. Probably gonna rotate between that buzzbait and a popper. You know, pretty standard stuff. Break out old Bill Dance one-handed cast. But really what I'm looking at is that right there. Can't see it because the water's too high, but there is a spot right there where it goes from wood bulkhead to corrugated metal bulkhead, and then there's like a culvert that kind of shoots out underneath the water there. Again, that you can't see, but I know it's there. Pick up a little squirmy wormy. Where'd my wormy go? There's my worm. Tide's rolling around this pretty good right now. Pretty good bait to kind of fish through there kind of slow. See if there's one that's willing to bite a worm that's not willing to come up and eat top water. Oh, had to hit the seat miller. I got a feeling there may be a buzz or a spinner bait eater on this bank somewhere. Golly, and if there wasn't, freaking slackline me. Alright, so a little hop, skip, and a jump later, and we have arrived to probably the last spot of the day. I got somewhere to, I actually got a phone call to make it 7:15 or so. So I need to be off the water by then, but tide's coming out pretty good. One lone dock right here, a little creek mouth that comes out, and there's some shell out in front of it, so we'll put her spot locked right there. We'll pick up this old cranking bait and get on to it. It was worth a try, but pick up the chatterbait. That was a really bad cast. You know what? It happens. Been trying hard to not beat myself up too much. I feel like every fisherman goes through it where we get too wrapped up and too worked up about catching them, and we forget why we fell in love with fishing in the first place. And been in one of those little funks lately where, yeah, I love catching fish, and I love to fish, but I started worshiping it more. Ooh, that was close. I found myself having way too much identity wrapped up in what a stupid little green bass does, which, again, it happens. People get passionate about something, they want to do well at it, and they want to come out here and enjoy their day and not make it feel like, you know, I've got my teeth kicked in over and over again by these little dumb green fish. But 90% of this sport is patience, patience, and patience. And It's a lot of moments of grinding and a lot of moments of sucking it up and a lot of moments of really struggling to put something together. And then when you do put it together, that's that high and that drug that we all chase as fishermen. I mean, where is that next bite coming from? Where is that next patternable bass coming from? It doesn't even have to be bass. Like, obviously I'm a bass fisherman and I love chasing down these little green ones for some reason, but whether it be redfish, flounder, trout, tarpon, those tarpon guys are a different breed anyway. That's a fish that guys fall in love with and become straight up addicted to. I'll get off there. Son of a gun. But it can be really easy to forget why we started fishing in the first place. And when it becomes and starts to feel like a little bit of a job, that's when it's time to take a look at what's really in control of your life. Is fishing and something that is an idol, which, like I said, to me, it was for a long time. I had so much identity wrapped up in my ability to catch these little stupid green fish, and I lost sight of what Christ said I was. I lost sight of what the good Lord said that I was, and really what my mission is here on this earth, and it's to tell more people about Jesus that need to hear it. And I'm by no means a perfect person. There's only one person that ever was perfect as far as I'm concerned, and he was nailed to a cross and crucified 2,000 so odd years ago. And there's a lot of people that need to hear the gospel, which translates to good news, a lot more now than ever. So with each, golly, how the hell did you miss that, buddy? But there's a lot of people now that need to hear the gospel more so now than ever. There's a lot of really strange things happening in our world right now. And the one thing that is absolute and the one thing that doesn't change is the Word of God. And what Christ's sacrifice at the cross meant for not only myself, but for you, the viewer watching this at home. And if you want to reach out to me and have a conversation about Jesus, I'd love to talk to you. I'll leave all my socials down in the description below and all that good stuff. And we can have us a good talk about Jesus. Been thinking about putting a little message at the end of each video, and something that's just kind of like a memory, like, or something to focus in on after the fishing portion of the video is done. Just to sit down and 5 to 8 minutes of just reading through scripture and what it applies to my life and how it applied to my life, and hopefully some people get some benefit out of something like that. And God's given me a platform to fish, and he's given me, there he is. God's given me a platform to fish, and get out of there. How big are you? Might be a redfish. It is a redfish. Freaking dang, that might be a keeper. Golly, look how pretty he is. Oh, I love it when they get in this part of the river. They get so pretty. He might keep, he's probably right at 18 if he is 18. Might be 17 and some change, but goodness, when these fish get in this part of the Ortega, they turn this gorgeous coppery orange color. That's why so many people call them pumpkins. As you can see, he pretty much looks like a pumpkin. They get in this tannic water, and they change the colors to match the tannins of the water quality. So I'm gonna throw him on the board. I just want to see if he's a keeper fish. I don't know if I'm gonna keep him or not, but coming into Ortega, you never quite know what you're gonna catch. I think he's probably gonna be an inch short. No, that is a keeper redfish. A little 18-inch, pretty little red. I got some buddies that'd love to hold him and admire him, but I'll piss a lot of people off right here. Chatterbait. That's pretty cool. Let's go check right across the bank from me. There's a little spot with some pilings that stick out. We've got some hard spots underneath them out in front of a little creek. Pattern holds up today. There should be a bass fishes or two on it, or maybe not even bass fishes, but potentially red fishes, black bass fishes, tarpon fishes. This river's a crazy place. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I saw him come out and get that. That was pretty cool. They're eating it good. Little pretty Ortega River bass. This little creek mouth and then roll on. But you ain't got to worry about somebody fishing. Holy hellfire. God, that scared me. Well, note to self. Giant fucking log there. And I'm hung on a tree. Whew, that scared me. That'll wake you up in the morning, I tell you. All right, I think we're gonna call it a day on that one. So pretty productive day. Like I said, definitely learned a couple new things today. Figured out a couple fish that were leaving the creeks, setting up on definitely some main river type of, or closer to main river type of structure. Definitely seems like there were way more fish in the Cedar River part of this creek than there were in the main Ortega. But that's part of it, live and learn and make right decisions and wrong decisions. So I'm gonna end it here. Thank y'all for watching.